Welcome Wendy Zizzo to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Wendy Zizzo, a life coach, an author. She wrote many books. She's a cancer survivor. There's a lot going on right now, and we're going to get down to the bottom of it. The question I have for everybody, who is Wendy Zizzo? And we're going to find out today.
Today.
How you doing? How's your day going so far on a beautiful Sunday?
It's a beautiful day. Super fantastic.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And
My favorite is groovy.
groovy, that's the word you like?
Well,
Okay.
groovy encompasses it all. It's the positivity of it, the feel good, you're in the flow. It's a good day. Yeah, groovy.
Okay. And the question I have for you is your book, Stage 4. And I think it's awesome. I'll put it up for the viewers to see it right now. And this book is awesome. Manifest Happiness Now. And when you click on it, for the guys that don't know, you click on this site and it brings you right to the books that she wrote. It's called Stage 4. I think it's awesome. I think people need to get it. You can get it right on Amazon. And I'm going to give you a little insight on it. Boom. Go to Amazon right now. Stage 4. People, you need to go get it because this book is an excellent read. It basically describes her life and the things that she went through, the situations, the age that she caught stage 4 cancer, and the symptoms of it. She breaks everything down. She breaks down her life experiences and so many different details, and we're going to get to the bottom of today. So what compelled you to write the book?
Funny story. When I met Chubb Rock and I was telling him, that I just survived stage 4 cancer a few years ago, he was like, you need to write a book about that. Mm-hmm. I was like, really? He's like, yes, you should, because a lot of people will be inspired by that. Da, 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 da. So I was like, all right. And then one day I sat home and just wrote it all out. And I didn't visit it for a little while because I knew I needed to learn how to write better. So I was like, let me go to college so I can learn how to be a better writer. So then I did that. And then after college, I looked back at the book and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely need to take my ass to college to become a better writer. So then I did all the editing of the book. It took me a couple of years, and that's what pushed me to do it.
It's fantastic. And to start off, let's talk about your childhood. What kind of childhood you had when you was growing up? Like, what was significant things that happened growing up in your life?
It's so subjective to where, I could say, oh, it's terrible. And then you hear of other people that had even worse stories, But I could say I grew up like a lot of people in the 80s of, from a baby boomer who didn't have the emotional understandings or, nurturing and stuff. So childhood was, 90s, 80s, 90s fun because of what we're able to do. But it was challenging because of the different things that I experienced, winding up homeless and winding up in the system, and then, being in after the system, coming back, being bullied in school,
Yeah.
It was just like a perfect storm of so many things, and poof, here I am.
I hear that. That's real, though. Now, I have a question for you. How would you describe yourself using 1 or 2 or 3 words?
Resilient would be if I use one word. I'd be tooting my own horn if I say super dope, and I got receipts. And I'll just say I'm a loving person more than people know.
That's what's up. And tell me something. What are your passions about in your life? Like, what is the passion you have? Like,
Well, my biggest passion is learning, and once I'm learning, now I want to share it. Because I'm like, ooh, this could help people. So I guess you could say my passion would be helping people. But helping them in the way I can. Not like how everybody else does that. Carve out my own thing. Like I don't want to help people like become a doctor and touch them, or a nurse and have to smell them either. Pardon, for people, out there, but if you work in the hospital setting or been in the hospitals, you know what I'm talking about. Big ups to all of the first responders and doctors and nurses out there. Y'all deserve so much more.
They don't get paid enough. You're right about that. You're right about that. Yeah.
Except for other people. We ain't gonna talk about them. But anyway,
I'm
but
pretty sure we got a lot to go through if when it comes to that stuff. Yep.
we can go for days. That's like whole other segments and stuff. But it's just yeah.
And another thing, what's the most important thing that makes you nervous right now about life in general? Like anything you could point out that sometimes can give you anxiety and stuff like that.
uh, am I doing enough to get what it is that I want? You know,
Mm,
the the life I want to live day to day in terms of freedom and financial freedom and all that stuff. It's like, am I doing enough? Or did I
mm,
do enough today? Or I still didn't get to this certain level, so I got to do something else. You know what I mean? So
mm,
that I would say is gives me anxiety.
I hear that. And what is the best compliment you ever gotten?
Hmm. Hmm. Um, I would say the best compliment that I got wasn't necessarily like meant to be a compliment. It was just somebody expressing to me that something that I said to them or something I showed or taught them actually changed their life for the better.
Mm.
That to me is a compliment.
And back to your book. When you was in your 20s, when you first got diagnosed with cancer, and you was going through this whole situation with the stage 4 cancer, what was the most concerning thing at that present moment besides you wanting to live, knowing that this is a dire situation? What was the most important thing at that point that you had in your mind that you just hope everything plays out the right way?
Well, for me, I went into fighter mode. Like, put on the boxing gloves. All right, let's get it popping. What I got to do? Or I got to do that? Or I got to do this? Um, so I would say the most important thing really was just making sure that I got past the next step.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going through the different treatments. As I'm going through these treatments and then I'm having the side effects, it's like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
just make it through these side effects because these side effects was a bitch. And I got to use that term. I might put some bass in my voice. Eat bitch.
No, there's no wrong with using that term because that's one of the most scariest things somebody can possibly go through is going through state cancer, and not only just cancer, going through stage 4 cancer. So, and it's a blessing that you're here, you made it through, and that's why I'm happy that you wrote this book because there was a lot of good information in there. Basically, a lot of stuff I took from the book is like your childhood upbringing and the things that you went through as far as the not so great relationship with your parents, your mother, so to
Mm.
speak, and how did that impact your life? The experience of your child bringing with your mother.
Well, there's a few ways you could look at that, because like Sigmund Freud would say, if it's not one thing, it's your mother. So
Mm-hmm.
any of the issues, so to say, that you develop in your life can be stemmed from those experiences. However, on the flip side, my hustler mentality, my drive to get it done, all that came from dealing with such pressure. And they say it takes pressure to build diamonds.
That's
So it's
true.
like going through all that shit, like fertilize my garden. And I'm not gonna say I'm perfect by some standard that nobody could ever reach, but I would say that I've definitely could have been more or could have been less,
Mm-hmm.
but what came from just that, I would say, yeah, the ability to just keep going, you know
Mm-hmm.
because when you have your back up against the wall in a sense, or when you from a young age knew that nobody had your back or believed that nobody had your back, then that taught you how to grind and have your own back.
Mm,
So I could say that was definitely a powerful result that I got from that, that serves me in ways.
mm. That's real. Now, the next question I got is what makes you feel inspired and allow you to be the best version of yourself?
Hmm. It inspires me to watch other people winning. Just watching other people doing what they love. Like, I watch gymnastics or something like the Olympics and be like, oh my God, that is so cool. Or watching American Idol, the tryouts. I can't watch the whole show. Or or The Voice. I'll just see like clips of this stuff. Like I'm not the type of person that sits and watches these shows, but I catch clips because I'm a TikToker. So I catch these clips and just seeing people living their authentic life. That is very inspiring for me to live, to do the same, to be in my authentic space.
That's real.
Yeah.
And another thing is, who has been a guide and life mentor for you?
Hmm. Hmm. There's so many people that I've met along my journey that have inspired me or guided me. So there's not necessarily one person.
Hmm.
Um, I want to say my godmother was someone that, and I talk about her in my book. Like, she was
Yeah.
actually my third foster mom, and I never let her go, and she never let me go. So we still close to this day, But I always, in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't want to let her down. I don't want to let her down, So she was like the mom I wasn't born from that I wish, that I wish I had, But I still got her, so I'm grateful for her. But I would say she's been my north star more
and
than
I,
she knows.
and the hot thing about it, it was pretty much like a short impact that she was there in the beginning, and that impact was so strong because it was only like a matter of months that you was
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
and that little months changed your whole entire life as far as knowing that somebody's in your corner. If you feel that you was didn't have no team, that's looking
yeah,
out for
and
your best
and
interests.
seeing, and more importantly, it was seeing the example of a woman that looks like me that is so awesome.
Hmm.
You know, Everything's nice around her. She takes care of her business. She looks beautiful all the time.
Hmm.
She was uh, stern but still nurturing about it. She wasn't like trying to beat my ass, type of thing. I'm not saying I ain't get in trouble because who doesn't?
Of course, you definitely gonna go through some stuff and get in trouble. We all do weird, crazy stuff from the time to time. And what was the turning point in your life? Like, what is the turning point when things you feel they're starting to get better and stuff like that? From what age you was?
That they started getting better.
Yeah, that you believe that it was a turning point, things just progressing to the better level. Because I remember when you was in your book, when you was going through those things, and then you start to get better, and you start working, and your circumstances start to get a little bit better from there.
Yeah, well, it was being held back to the capacity that I was, like being incapacitated, not being able to move, laying in the bed and just being stuck because just no energy, or
Mhm.
just feeling sick. It's like just being in that space just made me want to break out and do everything.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get out and live life now. I want to live. I haven't lived before.
And that's good. And I think your youth also saved you too. Being young, having a serious situation like that. I think somebody older probably ain't no way coming back because stage 4 is serious. And I did my
I didn't even know
research
how
and I just
serious it
started.
was back then. I think I mentioned that in the book where when they told us what it was, I asked my mother, I was like, well, what is that? She was like, don't worry about it. I was like, okay. I thought there was a 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't, I didn't know
Yeah.
that it stopped at 4. Well, technically 5, So my ignorance, I feel, is one of the things that also helped me as well because I didn't dwell so much on the problem.
Hmm.
It was more like, all right, this is what the problem is. All right, how do I fix it?
And
And that's where my perspective was.
that's what's up. And that particular moment in the book, I remember it was a section where you was having trouble breathing, and then your mom's ended up coming in and seeing you, and she was crying. Like the first time you see your mom really cry because you said your mom's been hard on you your whole life.
Mhm.
She really just don't say good job and keep up the good work. She always is tough on you.
Yeah,
So how did that make you feel in that moment
it
when you
was
saw your mom cry?
awkward. It was awkward. It was like, wow, you care? Like,
Yeah.
damn, I thought you just wouldn't can't care if I dropped dead wherever I was standing. So you actually care? Like,
Hmm.
okay. I still don't believe it yet, but all right.
Yeah, because you know what it
Like
is
that's
sometimes.
circumstantial. That don't count, you know.
Yeah. That's real right there, you know. And I think people care. I just think people care in their own way, and sometimes it's just not recognizable when you
Yeah,
look at it
well,
like.
I've learned over the years that people care to the capacity that they care towards themselves too. You know, you
Hmm.
can't expect everybody to have the same capacity of caring that another would, because not everybody has that. You know, it's like not everybody could jump high.
Hmm. And what do people misunderstand about you?
Oh, so much. So much. Like, okay, I'll say one thing off the bat that I know people misunderstand is that my external. They look at my external and they're like, "Oh, you know, she's attractive, so she don't go through nothing." Or she's always smiling and she's positive cuz she's beautiful. Like,
Hmm.
my looks, I can't see my looks. I see them when I'm looking like now in the camera
In the
or
camera or mirror.
I don't see that on a day-to-day basis. So to me, I could be the ugliest thing walking the planet. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is getting the job done. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And being a compassionate and caring and empathetic person, and you know, looking out for the next person. Like, you know, I'm the one type that'll hold the door open for people when they walk in, or you know,
Hmm.
go out of my way to help somebody type of thing. Like, or people think I'm stuck up because they're like, you light skinned. Like,
They be calling it light skin energy.
like I would say that's definitely one thing people misunderstand is like they they project onto me who they think, who and what they think I am based off of how I look,
Hmm.
rather than understanding like, nah, behind all this is some rugged chip on. Well, I don't know if I got chip on my shoulder necessarily, but you know, I'm,
Hmm.
you know, rough around the edges. You know, I was a tomboy. You know, just because I do the cute stuff, you know, and I'm purdy, that don't mean nothing.
That's true. That's true. That's funny though. You killing me. Now, what is an insult you received that you're proud of?
An insult?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
People always like,
You
you're a
said that
weirdo.
was,
I'm like, yeah. I
and that's
had
a
to learn
good
to
one.
embrace it. Yeah, I had to learn to embrace that. Like, oh, you're a weirdo. Oh, you're weird. Ugh. I'm like, no, you're weird. Eh.
And what is your favorite video content account on social media?
My favorite video account.
Like something that on social media that you watch over and over and over, or you know, multiple streams from this individual person and stuff like that. If somebody on there that you like, that you think always have a wealth of information that you look at, and you're like, oh, this is great. I
Funny
watch
enough,
too much stuff. It's hard for me.
I mean, I watch a lot of stuff, but while I'm getting ready in the morning for work, I'm always listening to Abraham Hicks.
Abraham
And
Hicks. Okay.
now Abraham Hicks, you know, for my Abraham Hicksers out there, y'all know the vibe. But Abraham Hicks, to condensed version, this woman named Esther Hicks and her husband started back in the '80s. She, through meditation, she started learning how to allow consciousness to communicate through her. You know, which is the term called channeling. Everybody
Hmm.
channels anyway, but that's a, you know, it's a taboo subject. But either way, um, just listening to that information sometimes it you know helps to just remind me. But she started doing the seminars over the years, and once you know social media and stuff and online became bigger, then the videos went online. So there's a lot of them on YouTube because people just take her content and just put it out, and she doesn't mind because she's like, you know, the more people get the information the better. She already rich, so she chilling, you know. But I
Yeah.
love the content that they produce because it's the type of stuff that when I listen to it, it helps me to feel better and to become better. You know, you'll never catch me listening to the news. You know what I mean? Because I don't want
That's
that fear
good.
mongering shit. Like, nah, I'm good. I create my reality.
That's good. And I remember, you know, we had conversations outside this interview, and you're very big on spiritual systems and energy and the things you wear and grounding. Like, talk about that
Naturally.
stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm all about that
Yeah.
natural life. And it's interesting. People think that because I'm more so into natural and holistic things, and I don't follow religion, so to say, then now I don't believe in God. I'm like,
Damn.
actually, I'm literally connecting and creating a very close relationship with that aspect. You know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
want to just outside of the realm of normal, but I usually the stuff that I'm wearing is because there's a purpose for it. Like I wear a lot of crystals. Each crystal has a different type of frequency that affects my body. I also wear copper. Copper helps with the health, helps with your energy. Um,
Hmm.
these necklaces, this is like organite, so it actually blocks the electromagnetic frequencies from all around you, from cell phones and Wi-Fi and all that. And my new one, it's my new baby. These are tensor rings, and tensor
Hmm.
rings help to like really focus the energy in whichever spot you're wearing it in. So I have this like on my heart, so I
Hmm.
just want to keep generating that good energy. Plus, it has crystals in it too, so each crystal has a different frequency, so that affects you on a different level too. And it's interesting, like if I use these terms,
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh, frequency and energy is like Wi-Fi signals, Bluetooth, uh,
Hmm.
music, the radio. What do you think these things are?
Yep.
They're frequencies.
Yep.
You turn on the radio, it is a receiver.
Hmm.
You are a receiver, and
Yep.
there's energy, all these frequencies are going on all around you, and you're receiving them.
Hmm.
So it's the ones that you tune into are going to basically help you to create the reality that you experience. you know
Hell yeah.
yeah, like I can give you a good example. Like this girl I knew years ago, she told me that behind her house was this light, or in the front of the house or something. Like they installed this light, and it was getting on her nerves. And she was like, "Oh, what if it's inviting all these negative things into my house?" Da da da. I said, "Why would you choose that reality? You could choose a reality to look at that light as being your guardian angel or something, or
Hmm.
that light is protecting your house or something. Like, why choose the reality of it being something negative?" And that's when she actually got it. What I meant, or what I mean when I say, in a sense, you're creating your reality. You create your reality on a few different levels, but in the terms of your thought processes and your belief systems, that creates your reality. So when you look at something and you put a negative definition to it, now you're going to have a not so good feeling to it, whether that's fear, anger, worry, anxiety, upset, all that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's an interesting thing how much we create our reality.
And we have conversations outside this interview, and one of the things you were saying to me was that, like, down to what you think can manifest into reality, such as you have so much negative energy, basically talking about something that's being bad, like you just mentioned, it automatically start to manifest in reality in a bad way. So you got to speak things into existence, good things. You say good things can happen. So I think when they say power of the tongue, it's just more like power, the energy is where you give your energy to. You either give it to the negative side or the positive side. You want to give it to the positive side, you get positive results. And even what you were saying before about what you eat also messes you up psychologically too, because the food that we eat also has an impact on our negative our mentality, our mind, and stuff like that. So
Well, again, it goes back to you being a receiver,
yeah.
right? You just imagine you as being this radio tower,
Hmm.
and when you're putting dirt in it or gunk on it, it's not going to be able to collect the information, the frequencies around it, as efficiently as it would if it was cleaner, right?
Mm.
So the food that you're eating is going to clog up your frequency. You're able to receive higher frequencies.
Hmm.
Now, because you got the gunk, now you're going to be more in tune to lower frequencies. And when you are thinking, believing, and feeling in a negative way, you're now a receiver of negative, low frequencies. So that's the type of things that are going to be attracted to you, and you're attracted to it. It's like
Mhm.
the law of attraction is instant.
That's
So
real.
it's like the moment once you're feeling bad, you are
Mhm.
now in a space that you're gonna continue attracting to and going to negative things, and that starts in your thoughts. Like it
Mhm.
snowballs. So let's say you have a thought about something, somebody pissed you off, and now you mad, right? And then
Mhm.
that's the first snowball, right? And then as you keep thinking, oh, they made me mad because of this, and then yeah, I remember when this happened and that happened and
Mhm.
that happened and that happened. You know what I mean? Now it's getting bigger and bigger, right? Then now you can start talking about how much the world gets on your nerves and how much society gets on your nerves. Now it's just getting bigger and bigger, right? So
Mhm.
now all this more, there's more stuff coming to it. It's just that's why it's getting bigger, is because you're staying in that vibration. So now it's just like, okay, more, okay, more, okay, more. That's just how the
Mm.
universe works. Like the universe is 100% obedient. When you're putting out this negative, it's like, okay, you did more, okay, I give you more, I give you more, I give you more. Like that's what the universe does. And the same goes for the positive aspect. When you're in a state of gratitude, when you're in a state of love and forgiveness and joy and happiness, when you feel good, when you're doing for others, when you're in the service, like again, now it's like, oh, you feel good, okay, let me give you more of that. If you're having a thought in the morning of, oh, I love, like for you, I love my wife, and that's the first one. Oh, these are the things that I love about my wife. Ooh, and then she does something great for you, like, oh, I love her even more. So now
Yeah.
more and more stuff is going to keep coming. Then the day was going to go on, and now you want to do stuff to keep her to keep giving you that good energy. You know what I mean? So,
That's real good. I didn't even think of it like that too. That's awesome.
and that
That's
goes
awesome
with
right there.
everything.
Yeah.
Like what you put out, you get back.
Mhm.
Period. That's what the law of attraction is. What you put out is what you get back. What you put out is what you get back. People are like, oh, that's karma. And people also think of karma as being like a long game or something. It's not necessarily like that, but it's what you put out is what you get back. So again, you are an energy tower, and what you
Mhm.
eat, what you think, and what you feel, what you believe more so, is going to determine what you're vibrating at and what you're
Mhm.
putting out to what you're getting back.
Now I have another question for you. What is the five favorite books, your top five favorite books that you could say that gave you inspiration and put you in a better position?
Hmm. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. The Four Agreements, dope
Okay.
book. That book, I think even kids can read that book and understand it. Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, dope book.
Mm-hmm.
The Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely helped for me to get a better idea of how the mind works, and more importantly, how much you could actually change your mind. You could retrain your mindset. You don't have to stay where you are. You can become
Mm-hmm.
something else. Um, hmm, Another book.
That's what's up, though. That sounds good. That second book sounds really good.
Yeah, then Think and Grow Rich was a good book too, just off of understanding that. But I mean, the version that's out now isn't the original version because somebody cut out stuff. We ain't gonna talk about that part. Uh,
Mhm.
oh, what's another book that I love that I know I've read more than once? I would have to go looking through because there's so many books that's going through my mind right now. There's another
Yeah.
book that I read called Frequency. I actually have that book. Um, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself
Mm-hmm.
by Dr. Joe Dispenza. That is a really good book. That'll give you a good idea of yourself and who you are. Oh, and Heart of the Soul was a book that helped me to understand emotions better.
Mm-hmm.
And once I understood the fundamentals of emotions and what they are and how they operate,
Yeah.
that's when I became more in tune with understanding emotions and emotional awareness.
And if you had a superpower right now, I'm talking about like one of the things we would watch on TV. What type of superpower you would take from one of these comics?
So many.
Yeah.
First one that popped in my head though is the power influence. Like I would want Dr. X all day.
Okay, because you could get the strong
I can
people to
get in
do all the strong stuff.
everybody's mind. I can get you to do whatever I want. I walk in the bank, give me $100. Bam, you just pass it. You don't even know why you passed it. Yeah, let me get Doctor Xavier. I would take that power any day, or Jean Grey. Phoenix, baby. No.
That's what's up though. I like that. And I have another question for you. What if I ask nah, I'm gonna put that one out there. You know what it is? I didn't have the list of questions I had before because I misplaced it, so now I got some new ones. So unfortunately,
Oh, okay,
guys, bear
okay.
with me. I don't have
It's
the
all
right
right.
questions I want, and it bothers me because when we pre-interview, we was knocking it out the ballpark. But this interview is good too. I love it.
Yeah, this is good.
Now, I have another question for you. What is the how do you like to be remembered? You know, leaving out this earth one day when it's time for you to go.
Mm, that I cared.
Yeah.
That I really cared, and not just that I cared. I want people to feel cared about because of me.
Hmm.
I want you to know what that's like if nobody ever gave it to you.
Yeah.
Um, oh, and I want to be known for being dope and fun and cool and living my life the best that I can and making the best of it all, and just hoping everybody else can do the same.
That's what's up. And what is the how many books you wrote so
And a
far?
boss. Nah,
A boss?
I'm a boss.
That's what I'm talking about.
How many books I've written? So I have 3 written books. Two of
Okay.
those are published. One of them I give away for free. Free ebook is called The 7 Seeds to Self Love. It's a mindset training type of book.
Okay.
Then I also created 4 different types of journals because
Hmm.
one of the other books I wrote is The Secret Power of Journaling. So I figured, well, let me make some journals to help get some people started in journaling and just give
Hmm.
you a guided journal to help you along that journey of journaling. Um, and that's so far. I know I got some more up
Nice.
there.
That's what's up though. They sound very interesting. Like I know your first book that I was just looking at, it was pretty damn well. Now it was
Oh,
well
Stage
written.
4.
It was awesome. It was well written though. You did a good job with it.
Audiobook
Um,
available on Audible too.
nah, I mean, yo, know what I'm saying? And another thing
Mhm.
too, the balls. You have the balls with you right now?
They're over there. I'm gonna be releasing those soon. So we ain't gonna talk about my balls
We ain't
yet.
gonna talk. Oh, we ain't gonna talk
Just
about
know
that.
that
Okay,
something dope is coming soon.
so
Y'all
I'm
gotta check
popping,
out manifesthappinessnow.com for more info. It's coming. It's coming.
and it's gonna be lit. It's
It's
gonna be lit.
definitely
You
gonna
know
be
what I'm
lit. The
saying?
Posy Balls. Facts.
Yep. And I
Yeah,
can't
man.
wait. I can't wait to get my hands on one of them so I could just spin it
Yeah, I
around and
can't.
just look at stuff. Like it's gonna be
Listen,
exciting.
I can't not enjoy to know as a woman that people gonna be playing with my balls. Yeah, you're gonna play with my balls, and my balls are gonna make you happy. I love it.
They gonna be like, "Excuse me, you play with what again? What
You're gonna
again?
play
Oh
with
no,
my
play with
balls.
this. Play with this."
Play with the balls.
But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I love everything that you stand for. And coming soon, I believe that you're gonna be mentoring people, mentoring people that people need
Yes,
mentorship. Coming soon is in the
guidance. Yeah,
developments right now. Somebody that's very inspirational, that has a great deal of life experience that she's willing to share with everybody. And even if you're a cancer survivor, and you know when it comes to cancer surviving, a lot of times within a few years, a lot of people end up getting it back. She's been cancer free for 19 years. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
19 years, and she making sure she takes steps to stay cancer free. Because
Absolutely.
remember, people, the environment that we live in has nothing but cancer causing situations. Even the food we eat, some of this food is number one carcinogens. What cheese? There's a lot. I don't want to go down the list. I'm not gonna run into that
That's a
rabbit hole
different
right
rabbit
now.
hole. That's another rabbit hole.
That's another rabbit hole. But the idea that not only that you cancer free, but you take steps to stay consistent of being cancer free, and I think we all can take some lessons from that, especially with the energy, like the one of the things you was mentioning before, grounding.
Oh, grounding. Oh my God. I mean, listen, cancer, in my opinion, from my experience, is an emotional dis-ease. So
Hmm.
when you're not uh, forgiving and releasing and giving grace, and not just forgiving people, forgive yourself for holding the pain that these people have given you. It's not just about forgiving them. I'm not for forgiving somebody without you first forgiving yourself. You
Yeah,
know, you have to forgive yourself first, because if you forgive someone without forgiving yourself, you kind of feel cheated. You're like, oh, they got
that's
away with
true.
it. You know what I mean? But it's like, nah, you got to forgive yourself. You have to really do the emotional healing, and that is what, in my opinion, is over time, the more you compound these emotions and suppress them, that they will manifest into your body as an overgrowth of tumors.
Hmm.
It's synonymous. So, as long as, for me, I learned, how to actually love myself in a much deeper way, not just about, doing things for me. It's also learning how to tune into myself and listen to what my emotions, have to tell me. And, one, when I mentioned before about the book about emotions, I learned that emotions are my best friend.
Mm.
Anytime I feel emotional, I'm happy now. I'm like, ooh, what's the matter, baby? What you gotta tell me? Thank you. I'm so glad that you're telling me this, because, you know, we've, you hold on to it because you think like, oh, I'm not gonna address that, or I don't even want to think about that, or I don't want to talk about that, or, it's just unresolved poop. You know,
Hmm.
in my opinion, depression is emotional constipation. Like,
Yeah,
you're so full of the shit, and you can't let it go because you don't know how to. You know,
yeah.
but in my opinion, it's learning self forgiveness. So part of what has helped me to maintain myself this long is to learn to love myself.
Mm. So I guess the emotional component could be a possibility. If I correct me if I'm wrong, it could be a self conscious thing because that's the only is the only thing, the subconscious, not subconscious. Subconscious is the only thing that we really don't have no control over to an extent. Because I know if you practice and meditate, you can control your subconscious.
Well, your subconscious
Subconscious,
is
yeah,
so your subconscious is the memory bank. Your
yeah.
memory bank, and things are stored in your subconscious, and then your subconscious is what drives everything else. Like, your subconscious is what keeps your body going. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But it's also where the old memories, aka beliefs, are stored. So if
Hmm.
you had a traumatic situation when you were young, whatever beliefs you created around that situation at that time, whether it was you were still in distress and never got relief, somebody told you that you were less than, those stay deep in your subconscious mind, and they now drive your, how you see things. It colors your lenses of perception, so to say. So when you learn meditation and learn how to work with your emotions, you are going, it's kind of like you're deep diving or time travel in a sense to meet those aspects of you, and you give it what it needs. And that's also called the process of integration. And
Mm.
when you're integrating these old belief systems, now you come into alignment. And let's say 5-year-old you got severely beaten by your parent, and you were left in your room by yourself to cry for hours, all day and all night. That version of you, that little 5-year-old you that's in the room crying, is still literally existing until you go in and meet with that child, lay in the bed with them, and give them the comfort, the love, the apology, the acknowledgement that it's always been needing to stop crying. Once it stops crying, now you're not seeing life from that perspective anymore.
Hmm.
It's gone. I mean, there's going to be hundreds of them, but
That's real. That's real right there. Now
real
I have a
quick too, I wanted to clarify something too, because when people see my name, Wendy Zizzo, they're
yeah.
like, "That's made up." No, Wendy Zizzo is my real name. Zizzo is a Sicilian last name. It was given to me by my dad because I'm part Sicilian, aka black.
Yeah, real talk.
So I just wanted to throw that out there for anyone that's like Zizzo. Yes, it's really my name.
And so pretty much, you already answered one of the questions I was going to ask you. It says, "What does self care looks like for you?" But as we was talking, you kind of answered that question already. Pretty
Yeah.
much because
Well, self
the
care also looks like eating the right or eating food that doesn't disrupt your body. Like you can eat something right, and you're like, "Oh fuck it, I don't care. I'll just deal with the upset stomach." Like, why would you do that to your body? Like, if you know eating or drinking this is gonna hurt your body, you're abusing yourself. That's called self abuse. You know what I mean? If you know that there's going to be this certain side effect, we've been trained to not see our bodies as these amazing temples that need to be cared for. Like, I see people put more love and cleanliness into their cars than they do themselves. You know
yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
real.
Like,
That's sad though. It's sad to say that. People, you know what it is? People are so focused on everything, and then when it's time for them to get sick, they don't want to spend much money
yeah, it's
on their health, but
programming.
they spend money on everything else.
Yo, people will spend more on what they put on their body than what they put in it.
And that's sad. And that's the reason why we have a lot of issues, especially in black communities sometimes too.
Yeah,
You
and all
know.
yeah, and a lot of them, a lot of places, people just think that, ah, I'll be alright. I'm gonna just eat this, and they just keep eating it. And then when they get to their 40s and 50s and their bodies start breaking down, they're like, oh,
Mhm.
that's just what happens. Like, nah, you was
Mhm.
doing too much. You was
One of the things in your book too, basically, you was talking about basically going through what you go through and being being good as you was and taking in all that negativity could have helped manifest into having cancer at some point, something
Oh
similar to
yeah.
that. But
Well, I mean, I went through a shitload of things growing up. A whole bunch of traumas, a whole bunch of
yeah.
teasing and things that shaped my mindset and colored my lenses to where this is all I could see. So for a long time, I didn't want to live. I was like, "Oh, this sucks. Life sucks.
Mhm.
Nobody loved me. Nobody cares." That was my mindset because from all the different experiences, that was the only thing that I could come up with.
Yeah.
Because that was my level of understanding. So once once I developed the cancer, I was like, oh shit, I actually have an opportunity to go. And then I seen everybody being all upset about it. And I'm like, oh, so they do care. All right, fine, I'll stay.
Okay.
Then you feel better, and then they go back to their asshole shit. You're like, you know what? It ain't even about you no more. I just want to live this life to the fullest now.
That's it. That's all it's about, And I
Yeah,
always I always say this all the time: eat to live.
word.
Eat to live is very important, and I
Yeah,
think
it's rather eat to live or live to eat. Which one you?
live to eat. Most of us live to eat, especially if you smell something smell really good. You're like, oh, that smells so
Yeah, or
good.
you one of those people that's like, oh, I gotta go try all the new restaurants. You don't know what they cooking with.
Oh, they killing us. And you know what it is? When I look at all that food on there and I'm seeing the way they just drop it in the plate and it coming down real good.
It's terrible. So there's this part of me that's like, I want to eat it all, but then there's the part of me that's like, you already know what's gonna happen if you
You pay
do.
the price later, yo.
Word.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna let you go, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And I think you did. I think this is an excellent thing that everybody need to do is go to your platform. You're gonna have a whole flute of programs that everybody can incorporate themselves to make them a better person. And you got a lot of steps and everything into the making. And I don't want to spoil it for
Yeah,
anybody.
listen, I'm talking about
It's gonna be
everything
crazy.
from different tools you could use to
Hmm.
help you love yourself better. Different tools you can use on the outside, like when you mentioned grounding. Like grounding is you like putting your feet on the planet and getting that grounding. Remember you energy tower
Yeah,
ground with the planet.
yeah.
That has great effects on your body. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about that on there too.
So it's been pleasure, everybody. Zizzo, and
Jizzle.
you have a wonderful. This is Zizzo Wendy. Y'all need to go to her site and look it up right here. I got it at the bottom, people. You know what I'm saying? Real good information on there. It's gonna be more. It's in the process of being updated, so the information will change. But it's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot more information as time go on. She's working on it right now. She got a lot of projects ahead. People, you gotta follow her. Ladies and gentlemen, Wendy Zizzo. She's, know what I mean? Yeah. All right,
Thank
people,
you.
have a good one.